Eagles fan, the NFL market is like a chess game. Sometimes, the movement of a piece on the other side of the board opens a direct path to checkmate in our favor. And this week, a very specific move happened in Baltimore in the AFC Conference should make Howie Roseman's eyes shine in Philadelphia. The Baltimore Ravens made a financial and strategic decision that basically put a for sale sign on one of the most explosive young talents in the league. We are talking about a 25-year-old player with elite-size safe hand and who was projected to be a superstar, but who could now fall into our lap for a value that seems like a lie. If you are worried about the future of the tight end position for the Eagles with the aging of Dallas Goedert and the contractual doubt, this video is the most important one you will see today. Let's connect the dots and show why the Eagles need to act. It all starts with a contract signing that happened this week. The Baltimore Ravens sent a crystal clear message to the rest of the league by renewing with veteran Mark Andrews. They closed a 3-year extension worth $39.3 million. Why is this bombshell new? Because until yesterday, the narrative in Baltimore was different. Mark Andrews is 30 years old. He seemed to have one foot out the door, whether by his own will or by the team's planning. The expectation was that he would pass the baton, but by giving him almost $40 million, the Ravens chose the present and the past, and by doing that, they implicitly said no to the future. And the name of that future is Isaiah Likely. Kevin Oestreicher from the Locked On Ravens podcast was surgical in his analysis on Twitter. He said, obviously, nothing is set in stone, but the Ravens extending Mark Andrews does not bode well for Isaiah Likely's long-term future in Baltimore. Likely will be a free agent after the season. This is where the magic. Isaiah Likely entered this season as the heir to the throne. He was the guy. But now he has become the leftover. He was, as they say, in the financial market, corrected by the market. The Ravens' plan changed, and this means that a player who has Pro Bowl potential will hit the open market free agency without the strings of a franchise tag or a previous extension. But you attentive fan must be asking yourself, if he is so good, why did the Ravens choose the 30-year-old guy and not him? The answer is cruel, but it is an opportunity for us. Injury. Football is a sport of availability. Isaiah Likely was ready to explode, but a preseason injury changed all plans. Reports from ESPN by Jamison Hensley and Jeremy Fowler revealed that the injury was much worse than a simple ankle problem as initially reported. Likely suffered a small fracture in his foot during practice in a non-contact play against safety Sanusi Kane. He had to be carted off the field, missed the first 3 games of the season, and only returned in Week 4 against the Chiefs. And since he came back, he hasn't been the same. His numbers in 2025 are modest, to say the least. In 9 games, he has only 18 receptions for 223 yards, and most worryingly, 0 touchdowns. Meanwhile, Mark Andrews reclaimed the undisputed TE1 spot with 37 receptions and 6 touchdowns. What does this mean? It means Likely's market value is down. He is a distressed asset at the moment, and that is exactly the type of player Howie Roseman loves to buy. To understand why the Eagles should be salivating at this possibility, we need to ignore 2025 and look at 2024. That was where we saw who the real Isaiah Likely is. He had a breakout season. He finished that year with 42 receptions, 477 yards, and 6 touchdowns. But more than the numbers was the visual impact. Remember that Week 1 game against the Chiefs, the defending champion. Likely had 9 receptions for 111 yards and a touchdown. He almost won the game by himself, if not for that big toe on the back line in the last second. That electric player who runs routes like a wide receiver in a tight end's body is still there. He just needs to recover fully. Now let's talk about money, because this is where the deal becomes irresistible for Philadelphia. The site Spotrac, a specialist in NFL salaries, projects that Isaiah Likely's market value will be a 4-year contract worth $40 million, about $41 million with some adjustment. That gives an average of $10 million per year. Fan, in today's inflated market, where receivers earn $30 or $35 million, paying $10 million a year for an elite young tight end of 25 years old is a steal. It is a bargain price. The injury and the bad 2025 season will probably make teams try to lowball him. And if there is anyone who knows how to take advantage of these market loopholes, it is our front office. But why would the Eagles need him? We already have Dallas Goedert right. Well, Goedert's situation is delicate, and we need to be honest about it. The text of the news reminds us of an important fact: the Eagles spent most of the last offseason listening to trade proposals for Dallas Goedert. The front office was actively shopping trades for him. Why? Because Goedert is already 30 years old. He is playing under a one-year, $10 million contract that expires soon. He is excellent. He is an idol. But the NFL is a cold business. Paying a third expensive contract for a tight end who is already past 30 and has an injury history is risky. Here enters the strategy. If the Eagles' plan is to get rid of Goedert or let him walk in free agency to avoid paying big money, we need a replacement. And you can't trust only late-round rookies to take on this burden. Bringing in Isaiah Likely would be the perfect transition. You trade a 30-year-old player Goedert for a 25-year-old one, Likely. You trade a body that is already worn down by years of hits for a young body that, despite the foot fracture, has much less mileage in the league. And financially, Likely's projected annual cost of $10 million is very similar to what Goedert costs today, but with much more future potential upside. Tactically, Likely is a dream. He is 6'5" and 250 pounds. He is not just a blocker, he is a weapon in the passing game. In Kellen Moore and Nick Sirianni's system, which values versatility, Likely could play lined up next to the line in the slot, or even split out like a receiver. Imagine an offense with A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Saquon Barkley, and Isaiah Likely. The opposing defense will have to pick their poison. He brings that vertical explosion through the middle of the field that is sometimes missing when the offense stagnates. He is the type of player who turns short passes into long gain, YAC yards after catch. This move has Howie Roseman's signature written all over it. The Eagles GM built his reputation on two things: valuing the trenches and finding value where others don't see it. Buying shares of a player when they are low. Buy low is the house specialty. Likely is down because of the injury and Mark Andrews' shadow. If he had repeated the 2024 season, he would be asking for $15 or $16 million a year. The fact that he got hurt might have cost him millions, but could save millions for the Eagle. It is cruel for the player, but excellent for our salary cap. Of course, there is risk. Signing a player coming off a foot fracture requires a rigorous medical evaluation. The Eagles' doctor would need to give the green light, but if the foot is healed, we are talking about a fourth-round talent draft of 2022 who exceeded all expectations and proved himself in the league. The reward of having a top-5 tight end in the league for the next 4 years during his physical prime from 25 to 29 years old far outweighs the risk of paying $10 million annually. It is a much safer investment than spending a first-round pick in the draft on a tight end who may or may not work out. Another point is the competition. With Andrews' renewal, Likely instantly becomes the best or one of the best tight ends available on the open market. Teams like the Washington Commanders, Los Angeles Chargers, or even the Giants might be watching. The Eagles need to be aggressive. Roseman doesn't usually wait. If he identifies that Likely is Goedert's heir, he will attack fast, maybe right at the beginning of the legal tampering window. The connection from Baltimore to Philadelphia isn't that far, and the appeal of playing in an offense full of stars could seduce the player to come here. The stage is set. Baltimore made their choice. They stuck with the safe pass, Mark Andrews. This released the explosive future Isaiah Likely to the market. The Eagles have a tough decision to make about idle Dallas Goedert. The math suggests that swapping Goedert for Likely keeps the cost, but rejuvenates the roster by 5 years and adds more explosion. It is the cold and calculated play that wins champion. Now the million-dollar question, or $40 million, is for you. Would you let go of Dallas Goedert today to sign Isaiah Likely for 4 years? Do you think this trade is worth it, thinking about the franchise's future? Or is Goedert's chemistry with Jalen Hurts irreplaceable? And about Likely's injury, does it worry you? Or do you trust the recovery? I want to see a high-level debate in the comment. This is one of those decisions that defines Super Bowl window. Leave your opinion, don't forget to smash the like button if you like this deep analysis, and subscribe to the channel. Here, we don't just bring the news, we bring the strategy behind it. Let's fly Eagles!